The massive chamber fell silent as the heavy doors sealed shut. Ambassador Park So-ra walked slowly across the polished floor, her boots making soft clicking sounds that echoed in the enormous space. Above her, thousands of alien beings watched, from their floating platforms and crystal pods. Some had tentacles instead of arms. Others looked like living rocks with glowing eyes. A few were just clouds of glittering gas that somehow spoke with voices. Park So-ra had seen many strange things in her life, but nothing like this. The Galactic Council Chamber was bigger than any building on Earth. The ceiling stretched, so high that clouds actually formed near the top. Ancient symbols glowed on the walls, telling stories of peace that had lasted for 3,000 years. Admiral Lee Ta-min stood beside her, his military uniform looking plain next to all the alien technology around them. His hand rested near his weapon, even though he knew it'd be useless here. Old habits died hard. Humans of Earth. A voice boomed from everywhere at once. The sound came from a massive crystal being that floated at the center of the chamber. Its body was clear like glass, but light moved through it like liquid fire. I am Council Prime Vexthara. We welcome you to this historic moment. Park So-ra nodded politely. Thank you for inviting us, Council Prime. The crystal being pulsed with brighter light. For 3 millennia, the galaxy has known peace under the Harmony Accords. No wars, no suffering, no chaos. Every species lives in perfect balance with all others. That sounds wonderful, Park So-ra said. Her voice was calm, but Lee Ta-min noticed the slight tightness around her eyes. She was thinking hard. A new voice spoke from somewhere in the crowd of aliens. This one sounded like grinding metal. I am Warcast Commander Drakemel. Before the Accords, my people fought endless battles. Millions died. Now we serve as peacekeepers, and death has become rare. Other aliens began speaking, each telling similar stories. The spider-like creatures talked about how they used to eat each other. The flying beings described wars that burned entire planets. The blob-like species explained how they once absorbed other races completely. All of this ended, Vexthara continued, when we created the Harmony Accords. Every species that joins submits to collective decision-making. No one acts alone. No one takes more than their share. No one develops weapons beyond peacekeeping. Needs. Park So-ra listened carefully. And what happens to species that don't join? An uncomfortable silence filled the chamber. Several aliens shifted in their seats or platforms. Some made nervous sounds. There are no species outside the Accords. Vexthara said finally. All civilized beings eventually see the wisdom of peace. I see. Park So-ra's smile didn't change, but something cold entered her eyes. The Council Prime's light grew warmer. Humanity has achieved faster than light travel. You have begun exploring beyond your solar system. This means you are ready to take your place in galactic civilization. A floating screen appeared in the air, showing documents covered in alien writing. These are the Harmony Accords. By signing, humanity agrees to submit all major decisions to Council review. Your military will be reduced to peacekeeping forces only. Your expansion into space will follow Council guidelines. Your technology development will be shared with all species. Lee Ta-min's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. In return, Vexthara continued, humanity receives protection from all threats. You gain access to advanced alien technologies that will improve your lives. You can trade freely with thousands of worlds. Most importantly, you will never again know the horror of war. More screens appeared, showing beautiful alien cities, incredible machines, and peaceful beings living together in harmony. It looked like paradise. This offer is made to all species when they reach your level of development, Commander Drakemel added. Some take time to consider. Some ask questions. but all eventually choose peace over chaos. Park So-ra studied the documents floating in front of her. She couldn't read the alien writing, but she understood what was being offered. Safety in exchange for freedom. Peace in exchange for independence. How long do we have to decide? She asked. 30 standard days, Vexthara replied. This should be more than enough time for your leaders to see the wisdom of joining us. And if we refuse? The question hung in the air like a physical thing. Every alien in the chamber seemed to hold their breath, if they breathed at all. No species has ever refused, Vexthara said carefully. The benefits are too obvious, the alternative too terrible to consider. But what if we did refuse? Park So-ra pressed. Commander Drakemul spoke up, his metal voice harder now. Species that cannot live in peace with others become a threat to all. Threats must be dealt with. I see. Park So-ra nodded slowly. So this isn't really an invitation. It's an ultimatum. It's an opportunity, Vexthara corrected quickly. The greatest opportunity your species will ever receive. Park So-ra looked around the massive chamber one more time. She saw thousands of alien faces watching her. Some looked hopeful. Others seemed worried. A few appeared hungry, as if they wanted to see what humanity would choose. She thought about Earth, with its blue oceans and white clouds. She thought about human cities full of noise and chaos and wonderful, messy life. She thought about human children asking endless questions and human scientists building impossible things just to see if they could. Then she thought about what this chamber represented. Perfect order, perfect peace, perfect control, Council Prime. Vexthara, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the enormous space. Please give my thanks to the Galactic Council for this generous offer. Every alien leaned forward, waiting for her next words. Park So-ra smiled, the same polite smile she had worn since entering the chamber. Our answer is no. The silence that followed was deafening. Then chaos erupted. Aliens made sounds Park So-ra had never heard before. Some screamed, others roared. A few began flashing bright colors. The floating platforms swayed as their occupants moved in agitation. Impossible. Commander Drakemul's voice cut through the noise. No species refuses the Accords. We just did, Li Tae-min said quietly, speaking for the first time. Vexthara's crystal body dimmed and blazed with angry light. You don't understand what you're choosing. War, suffering, death, all the horrors we've eliminated from the galaxy. Maybe, Park So-ra replied, but they'll be our horrors to face. Our choices to make, our mistakes to learn from. She turned toward the exit, Li Tae-min beside her. Thank you again for the invitation. We'll be leaving now. As they walked away, Vexthara voice followed them. You have 30 days to reconsider. When you see what rejection means, you'll come back begging to join us. Park So-ra didn't turn around. We'll see. The massive doors opened, and the two humans walked out, leaving behind a chamber full of aliens who had just witnessed something. That hadn't happened in 3,000 years. Someone had said no to galactic peace. The war room deep beneath Earth's surface buzzed with quiet activity. General Kim Woo-jin stood before a massive wall screen showing star maps, trade routes, and alien ship movements. Red dots marked council territories. Blue showed human colonies. The red vastly outnumbered the blue. They expected us to say yes, Dr. Choi Min-ho said as he entered the room. The xenobiologist looked tired. He had been working for weeks without proper sleep, analyzing every piece of data they had about the Galactic Council. Everyone expects humans to be reasonable, General Kim replied without turning around. That's their first mistake. Captain. Han Soo-jin materialized from the shadows near the door. Her stealth suit powered down, revealing a woman with sharp eyes and several scars on her face. The council is already moving. 3 fleets have changed course toward our outer colonies. They're not attacking yet, but they're getting ready. Dr. Choi pulled up his research on a smaller screen. They won't attack immediately. The Council hasn't fought a real war in 3,000 years. They'll try other methods first. What kind of methods? General Kim asked. Economic pressure, trade sanctions, making life difficult for any human ships in neutral space. Dr. Choi touched the screen, bringing up files on dozens of alien species. But that's not the real problem. He pointed to a chart showing technological development over time. Look at this pattern. Every species that joins the Council shows the same trend. For the first 100 years, their technology advances rapidly. They get access to alien knowledge and build amazing things. General Kim studied the chart. Then what happens? It stops. Dr. Choi highlighted the flat lines that appeared in every species development after their first century in the Council. Innovation dies. They stop creating new things. They just maintain what they already have. Captain Han nodded grimly. I've seen it during my reconnaissance missions. The Council gives new species enough technology to make them dependent, then slowly takes away their ability to create more. How? General Kim asked. Dr. Choi brought up another file. Resource allocation. Every species gets exactly what the Council thinks they need. No more, no less. If you want to build something new, you have to get permission and materials from the Council. And they never give permission for anything truly innovative, Captain Han added. I watched a species called the Veltar try to develop better engines for their ships. The Council said it wasn't necessary. They already had engines that worked fine. What happened to the Veltar? General Kim asked. They stopped trying, Doctor. Choi said quietly. Within 50 years, they forgot how to build engines at all. Now they buy everything from Council factories. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. General Kim turned away from the star map to face the other two. So the Council doesn't just want to control our actions. They want to control our minds, not control, Dr. Choi corrected. Replace. They want to replace human creativity with Council dependency. Replace human problem-solving with Council solutions. Replace human growth with Council stability. Captain Han pulled up images from her spy missions. I've been to 12 Council worlds in the past 6 months. They're all the same. Clean, safe, peaceful, and completely boring. No one argues. Number 1 experiments. No one even seems to want anything they don't already have. That's not peace, General Kim said. That's death by comfort. Dr. Choi nodded. The Council has eliminated war by eliminating the things that cause war: competition, innovation, the desire to grow and change. But those same things are what make life worth living. Engineer Bae Ji-hoon entered the room carrying a tablet covered in technical diagrams. Speaking of innovation, Project Phoenix is ready for the first test. General Kim raised an eyebrow. Already? Turns out human engineers work faster when they're angry. Bae Ji-hoon grinned. We've been reverse engineering Council technology for months, not copying it, improving it. He showed them a sleek ship design on his tablet. Council ships are built for efficiency and safety. They're predictable. Our new ships are built for surprise. What kind of surprise? Captain Han asked, professional interest clear in her voice. Council ships can jump to faster than light speed, but they need time to charge their drives. Our ships can jump instantly. Council ships have strong shields, but they're all the same frequency. Our weapons can punch right through them. Council ships are controlled by committees, making careful decisions. Our ships respond to single commanders making fast choices. Dr. Choi looked worried. But their technology is thousands of years more advanced than ours. In some ways, Bae Ji-hoon agreed. But advanced doesn't always mean better. They've spent 3,000 years perfecting the same basic designs. We've spent 6 months trying crazy new ideas just to see what would happen. General Kim smiled for the first time in days. Show me. Bei Ji-hoon led them to an elevator that went even deeper underground. When the doors opened, they stepped into a cavern filled with impossible things. Ships that looked like they were, built from liquid metal. Weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. Soldiers wearing armor that seemed to bend light around it. The Council expects us to fight like they do, Bei Ji-hoon explained as they walked through the facility. Careful, measured, following established rules of engagement. He stopped in front of a ship that didn't look like any human design they knew. This is the Soul's Revenge. It can carry 50 Marines anywhere in Council space without being detected. It can disable enemy ships without destroying them. And it can be everywhere the enemy isn't expecting. Captain Han ran her hand along the ship's hull. The metal felt warm and almost alive. When do we test it? Tonight, General Kim decided. The Council thinks they have 30 days to convince us to surrender. Let's show them how humans spend their time. Dr. Choi still looked concerned. Are we sure about this? Once we start fighting, there's no going back. The Council has millions of ships. We have hundreds. Numbers don't tell the whole story, Captain Han said. I've watched Council fleets in action. They're powerful, but they're predictable. They do everything by committee. Every decision gets discussed and approved by multiple commanders. Human ships have one commander who makes instant decisions, General Kim added. While they're having meetings about what to do, we'll already be doing it. Engineer Bei Ji-hoon brought up a hologram showing human space surrounded by Council territories. We're not trying to conquer anyone. We just want to be left alone to grow and change and make mistakes. The Council won't allow that, Dr. Choi said. Our independence threatens their entire system. If other species see that it's possible to live outside the Accords, they might want to try it too. Good, General Kim said firmly. Maybe it's time the galaxy remembered what freedom feels like. Lieutenant Colonel Oh the Jin approached them, her uniform crisp despite having just finished a 20-hour planning session. General, the Souls. Revenge is ready for departure. Target is the Council observation post in the Kepler system. What's the mission? Captain Han asked. Oh the Jin smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. We're going to return their surveillance equipment, personally. As alarms began sounding throughout the facility, calling crews to their ships, Dr. Choi realized something important. The Council had made a fundamental error in their understanding of humanity. They thought humans would choose safety over freedom. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The Council observation post in the Kepler system detected nothing unusual until it was too late. One moment, space around the station was empty. The next moment, 3 human ships appeared from nowhere, their hulls reflecting starlight like liquid mercury. Commander Thexno had been monitoring human space communications for weeks, expecting to intercept messages of panic and desperation. Instead, his sensors were picking up something impossible. Human ships were moving faster than any vessel in the Council database. Alert status red, he commanded his crew of mixed alien species. Unknown vessels approaching at combat speed. His communications officer, a tentacled being called Vel Moss, checked the readings twice. Commander, those aren't unknown vessels. They're human. Impossible. Human technology is primitive. They barely achieved faster-than-light travel a year ago. The lead human ship opened a communication channel. Lieutenant Colonel Oh the Jin's face appeared on the main screen, her expression politely professional. Council observation post Kepler 7. This is the Earth vessel Soul's Revenge. We're here to return some equipment you've left in our space. Commander Thexino activated his ship's defensive systems. The observation post wasn't heavily armed, but it had enough firepower to destroy primitive human vessels. Human ship, you are trespassing in Council territory. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. Actually, the Jinn replied cheerfully, you're the ones who are trespassing. Those surveillance drones you've been sending into our system, we collected them. All 47 of them. The Council commander's confidence wavered. Those drones were supposed to be undetectable by human technology. You're bluffing. The Jinn gestured to someone off-screen. A moment later, the Soul's Revenge opened its cargo bay and ejected 47 Council surveillance drones, each one carefully deactivated and tagged with a small human flag. We also found the hidden relay stations you built in asteroids throughout our outer system, she continued conversationally. We've removed those too. Consider this a neighborly cleanup service. Nisnil's secondary screens showed impossible readings. The human ships weren't just fast. They were using energy signatures that his computers couldn't identify. Their weapons were powered, but didn't match any known Council designs. You have 30 seconds to withdraw, he threatened, or we will. Open fire. You're welcome to try, the Jinn said. But I should mention that we've already disabled your primary weapons array, your communication system, and your faster-than-light drive. We did that about 5 minutes ago, while you were still figuring out how we got here so quickly. Dexino frantically checked his systems. Everything appeared normal, but when he tried to charge weapons, nothing happened. His communications array showed full functionality, but no signals were getting through to Council command. The faster-than-light drive indicated ready status, but the activation sequence refused to engage. How did you do this? He whispered. Trade secret, the Jinn replied. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to sit very still while we finish collecting your surveillance equipment. Then you're going to take a message back to the Council. What message? The Jinn's smile became sharper. Tell them that humanity appreciates their interest in our activities, but we prefer privacy. Any future surveillance efforts will be returned in the same manner. Any attempts to restrict human ships in neutral space will be met with appropriate responses, and any aggressive actions against human colonies will be considered acts of war. She paused, her expression becoming more serious. Also tell them that we know about the Veltar, and the Quinder, and the 17 other species that mysteriously went extinct after refusing to join the Harmony Accords. Dexino felt cold fear run through his alien metabolism. That information was classified at the highest levels of Council security. You can't know about that. We know lots of things, the Jinn said. For instance, we know that Council peacekeeping fleets are moving toward our space. We know about the economic sanctions being prepared. We know about the meetings where various Council members are discussing the human problem. The Soul's Revenge finished collecting the surveillance equipment and began moving away from the observation post. As it did, Dexinol systems suddenly came back online. One more thing, the Jinn added. Tell the Council that humans don't respond well to threats. We tend to get creative when people try to push us around. They probably won't like our creativity. The human ships vanished as quickly as they had appeared, leaving the Council observation post floating alone in space with a cargo bay full of disabled surveillance drones and a very shaken crew. 3 days later, the Council's response arrived in human space. Economic sanctions went into effect immediately. Human ships were banned from Council ports. Trade agreements were suspended. Any alien caught dealing with humans faced severe penalties. General Kim Woo-jin watched the reports from his command center and smiled. Right on schedule, sir? Captain Han Soo-jin asked. They're doing exactly what we expected. Economic warfare. First, an escalation when that doesn't work. He turned to Engineer Bei Ji-hoon. "How many colonies have we established in the past week?" 15, Bei replied proudly. "All in systems the Council claims are too dangerous for colonization. Turns out they're just difficult, not impossible." Dr. Choi Minho looked up from his analysis reports. "The Council species are starting to notice. Some of them are asking questions about why humans can colonize systems they were told were uninhabitable." "Good," General Kim said. "Questions are the first step toward thinking. The next phase of the Council's response in 2 weeks." Later, a blockade fleet positioned itself around New Sol, humanity's largest colony outside Earth's solar system. The fleet consisted of 30 Council ships representing 12 different species. Fleet Commander Zarkith sent a formal message to the colony. "By order of the Galactic Council, this system is under quarantine. All human vessels must surrender for inspection. Any resistance will be met with overwhelming force." Governor Park Min-soo, a former Earth military officer, received the message in his office overlooking New Sol's growing city. The colony had been built in just 8 months, transforming a barren world into a thriving community of 2 million humans. "How long until our relief arrives?" he asked his aide. "Lieutenant Colonel O's task force is 6 hours out," came the reply. Park Min-soo opened a communication channel to the blockade fleet. "Commander Zarkith, this is Governor Park Min-soo of New Sol Colony. We're willing to discuss your concerns, but we won't surrender our ships or submit to inspection." "Then you choose destruction," Zarkith replied. "You have 1 hour to reconsider." 58 minutes later, the impossible happened again. Lieutenant Colonel O the Jin's task force didn't arrive from the expected direction. Instead, 12 human ships materialized inside the Council blockade formation, appearing simultaneously between the larger alien vessels. Fleet Commander Zarkith, O the Jin's voice broadcast on all Council frequencies. "You seem to be lost. This is human space. We're here to provide directions back to Council territory." Zarkith's tactical display showed the human ships were tiny compared to his vessels, but they were positioned perfectly to strike at his fleet's weak points. Somehow, they had bypassed his sensors and appeared exactly where they could do the most damage. "You're outnumbered 30 to 12, he snarled. "Actually," O the Jin replied, "you're outnumbered 30 to 0. Before Zarkith could ask what she meant, his sensors registered new contacts. Hundreds of them. Small, fast ships were emerging from the asteroid belt, the gas giant's moons, even from inside the planet's atmosphere. They had been hiding everywhere, waiting. "You see," O the Jin continued conversationally, "humans don't just fight with the ships you can see. We fight with the ships we hide, the plans you don't know about, and the tactics you've never imagined." The Council fleet found itself surrounded, outnumbered, and completely outmaneuvered. Their ships were powerful, but they had been designed for predictable battles against known opponents, using established tactics. "I'll give you the same choice you gave us," O the Jin said. "Withdraw peacefully or face the consequences. You have 1 minute to decide." Zarkith looked at his tactical display and realized he had no good options. The human ships were too small and fast for his heavy weapons to target effectively, but they were perfectly positioned to cripple his larger vessels. "This isn't over," he transmitted as his fleet began withdrawing. "No," O the Jin agreed. "It's just beginning." As the Council fleet retreated, Governor Park Min-soo watched from his office and shook his head in amazement. The humans had just broken a Council blockade without firing a single shot. The galaxy was about to learn that humans didn't fight wars the way everyone else did. They fought wars the way humans did. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been going for 18 hours straight. Council Prime Vexthara's crystal body pulsed with angry red light as reports flooded in from across Council space. The humans weren't just resisting. They were thriving. 17 new human colonies in the past month, reported Counselor Yalkesh, a floating jellyfish-like being, all in systems we marked as uninhabitable or too dangerous for settlement. Warcast Commander Drakemul slammed, his metal fist on his platform. They're making us look like fools. Species across the galaxy are asking why humans can colonize worlds we said were impossible. Worse than that, added Counselor Zixandra, her insect-like features clicking with agitation. 3 council species have formally requested permission to attempt colonization of similar worlds. When we denied permission, they asked why humans get special treatment. Council Prime Vexthara dimmed his light, thinking carefully. In 3,000 years of galactic peace, no species had ever questioned Council decisions so directly. The Harmony Accords worked because everyone believed the Council knew best. If species started thinking for themselves, what about the economic sanctions? He asked. Completely ineffective, Counselor Yalkesh replied miserably. Human trade has actually increased. They're dealing directly with independent merchants and small corporations. Many Council species are secretly buying human goods because they're cheaper and better quality than official Council products. The chamber fell silent. This was devastating news. Council control depended on economic dependency. If species could get better products elsewhere, the entire system would collapse. How is that possible? Vexthara demanded. Their technology is primitive. Not anymore, Commander Drakemul admitted grudgingly. Our analysis of the wreckage from the New Sol incident shows human ships using completely unknown technologies. Their weapons are more efficient than ours. Their engines are faster. Their sensors are more accurate. They've had our technology for less than 2 months, Counselor Zixandra protested. No species improves that quickly. Humans do, came a new voice from the chamber entrance. All eyes turned to see Admiral Li Tae-min walking into the chamber, flanked by 2 human guards in strange armor that seemed to bend light around it. You weren't invited to this session, Vexthara said coldly. You weren't invited to spy on our colonies either, Li replied calmly. But we're both here now, so let's talk. Commander Drakemul activated his weapon systems. Seize them. Nothing happened. The Council's security forces remained motionless. Li smiled politely. I should mention that my people have been here for about 20 minutes. Your security systems are temporarily offline. Impossible, Vexthara sputtered. This chamber has defenses that have protected the Council for millennia. Had defenses, Li corrected. Past tense. We've been studying your technology. Wow. You've been underestimating ours. He walked to the center of the chamber, seemingly unafraid of the thousands of aliens surrounding him. You're all wondering how humans advanced so quickly. The answer is simple. We've been doing something you haven't done in 3,000 years. What's that? Counselor Yalkesh asked nervously. We've been trying new things, Li said. Every day. Every hour. When something doesn't work, we try something else. When something works well, we try to make it work better. You call it chaos. We call it progress. Vexthara's light blazed brighter. Progress leads to war. Competition breeds conflict. We eliminated those things to create peace. You eliminated those things to create control, Li replied. And control isn't peace. It's just fear wearing a pretty mask. He gestured around the chamber. Look at yourselves. You're terrified of one small species. That just wants to be left alone. Why? Because deep down, you know your system is built on lies. What lies? Counselor Zixandra demanded. Li pulled up a holographic display showing star charts and historical data. The lie that species need the Council to survive. The lie that independence leads to destruction. The lie that innovation is dangerous. The Display showed the locations of 17 extinct species. These species didn't die from war. They died from stagnation. They stopped growing, stopped changing, stopped adapting. The Council didn't save them from conflict. It killed them with comfort. That's not true, Vexthara protested. Prove it, Lee challenged. Name one significant technological advancement any Council species has made in the past 1,000 years. Name one new idea, one creative solution, one moment of genuine innovation. The chamber fell silent. No one could answer. That's what we thought, Lee continued. You've created a galaxy of sheep, and now you're upset because humans refuse to be herded. Commander Drakemel found his voice. We'll destroy you before we let you corrupt the galaxy. With what? Lee asked mildly. Your fleets that can't catch our ships? Your weapons that can't penetrate our defenses? Your tactics that we figured out in the first week? He touched his communicator. Captain Han, please demonstrate. Across the galaxy, 12 Council military installations simultaneously lost power. Not destroyed, simply shut down. Life support remained active, but weapons, communications, and faster-than-light drives went completely dead. How? Vexthara whispered. We've been inside your networks for weeks, Lee explained. Every system, every database, every secret file. We know about the extinct species you covered up. We know about the resources you've been hoarding. We know about the plans to eliminate humanity if we couldn't be controlled. The display changed to show classified Council documents detailing final solutions for uncooperative species. But here's the thing, Lee continued, his voice growing harder. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to destroy the Council. We just want you to stop lying to everyone, including yourselves. What do you want? Counselor Yalkesh asked quietly. We want you to remember what you were before you became afraid of your own shadows, Lee said. We want you to stop treating every species like children who can't be trusted with sharp objects. We want you to realize that real peace comes from choice, not force. Vexthara's light flickered uncertainly. And if we refuse? Lee shrugged. Then we'll keep doing what we're doing. Growing, exploring, innovating. Eventually, other species will notice and start asking why they can't do the same things. Your choice is simple. Evolve or become irrelevant. The chamber erupted in angry voices as Council members argued among themselves. Some demanded immediate military action. Others called for negotiation. A few quietly admitted that the human had made valid points. Dr. Yang Hai-Rin's voice suddenly filled the chamber, broadcasting from human space. Citizens of the galaxy, this is Dr. Yang Hai-Rin of Earth. I'm speaking to you directly because your leaders have forgotten something important. Her image appeared on screens throughout Council space, reaching billions of beings across thousands of worlds. You have the right to choose your own path. You have the right to try new things, make mistakes, and learn from them. You have the right to grow and change and become more than you are today. Panic spread through the chamber as Council members realized their communications had been completely compromised. The Council will tell you that freedom is dangerous, Dr. Yen continued. They'll say that independence leads to war and suffering. But we're here to show you a different way. We're not asking you to follow us. We're asking you to follow yourselves. Vexthara turned to Lee with desperate anger. You're destroying everything we've built. No, Lee replied calmly. We're showing everyone what you've destroyed. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Across the galaxy, something the Council hadn't seen in 3 millennia began to happen. Species started asking questions, not just about human technology or colonies, but about their own lives, their own choices, their own futures. The age of the Harmony Accords was ending. The age of questions had begun. 6 months after humanity rejected the Galactic Council's ultimatum, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. Ambassador Park Sora stood on the observation deck of Freedom Station, watching ships from 47 different species dock at the massive neutral facility. Unlike council stations with their sterile uniformity, Freedom Station buzzed with chaotic energy and endless variety. The Veltar delegation just arrived, Captain Han Soo-jin reported, approaching with a datapad. They're bringing prototype engines they developed in secret for the past century. Park Sora smiled. The same Veltar the council said had lost the ability to innovate, the very same. Turns out they never lost it. They just hid it. Han gestured toward the docking bay where strange, beautiful ships were arriving. Half the species here have been secretly developing new technologies for generations. They were just afraid to use them. Through the massive windows, they could see the first interspecies summit taking shape. Unlike the rigid hierarchy of council chambers, Freedom Station's conference areas were designed for equals. No elevated platforms for superior species. No assigned seating based on membership status. Just beings from across the galaxy sitting together and talking freely for the first time in 3,000 years. Dr. Choi Min-ho joined them, carrying research files that would have been impossible to obtain under council restrictions. The economic reports are remarkable. Trade between independent species has increased by 400%. Innovation rates are climbing exponentially. Some species are developing technologies they haven't attempted in millennia. What about the council? Park Sora asked. Fracturing, Han replied with satisfaction. 12 species have formally withdrawn from the Harmony Accords. 23 more have submitted requests for modified membership status, which basically means they want council benefits without council control. General Kim Woo-jin's voice came over the station's communication system. Ambassador Park, we're ready for the opening ceremony. The main conference hall was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Instead of the imposing grandeur of council chambers, Freedom Station's meeting space felt welcoming. Beings who had been enemies for millennia sat side by side. Species that had been separated by council regulations were trading ideas and technologies. Freely. Park So-Ray took her place at the central podium, but it wasn't elevated above the others. She was among equals, not above them. 6 months ago, she began, humanity was given a choice. Join the Galactic Council and accept their peace, or face the consequences of independence. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Many species present had faced similar ultimatums throughout history. We chose independence, not because we wanted war, but because we believe real peace can only exist when beings choose it freely. She gestured to the assembled delegates. What we found was remarkable. We weren't alone. The Veltar ambassador, a tall being with crystalline features, stood to speak. For 800 years, my people lived under council oversight. We were told we were too aggressive for innovation, too chaotic for advanced technology. We believed them. His voice grew stronger. Then we watched humans take council ultimatums and turn them into opportunities. We realized the council wasn't protecting us from our nature. They were protecting themselves from our potential. Applause echoed through the chamber, something that would never have been permitted in council sessions. Dr. Yang Hai-rin took the podium next. The galaxy has forgotten something important. Progress isn't dangerous. Stagnation is. Competition isn't evil. It's evolution. The desire to grow and change isn't chaos. It's life itself. She brought up displays showing technological developments from the past 6 months. New engine designs, medical breakthroughs, agricultural innovations, artistic movements, all created by species that had been told they weren't capable of such things. The council promised peace through control, Young continued. We offer something different, peace through choice. Colonel Ru Jinwu approached the podium, his military bearing commanding attention from warriors of dozen species. Some of you are wondering about security. How do we maintain peace without the Council's oversight? He activated a holographic display showing human military doctrine. Humans have learned something the Council forgot. The best way to prevent war isn't to make it impossible, it's to make it unprofitable. The display showed trade routes, mutual, defense agreements, and economic partnerships forming organically between independent species. When species depend on each other by choice rather than force, they protect each other by choice rather than obligation. When innovation benefits everyone, everyone has a reason to preserve peace. A delegate from the insectoid zercake species stood up. But what about disputes? What about conflicts between species? Engineer Bei Ji-hoon answered that question. We propose something revolutionary. We let the involved parties solve their own problems. The chamber buzzed with surprise. Instead of a council making decisions for everyone, we create voluntary arbitration systems. Instead of imposed solutions, we facilitate negotiated agreements. Instead of forced compliance, we offer mediated cooperation. Park Sora returned to the podium. What we're proposing isn't anarchy. It's responsibility. The responsibility to make your own choices and live with the consequences. The responsibility to solve your own problems and help others solve theirs. The responsibility to grow, change, and become more than you are today. The displays changed to show the new alliance structure, not the rigid hierarchy of the Council, but a flexible network of voluntary partnerships. We call it the Free Species Alliance, Park Sora announced. Membership is voluntary. Withdrawal is always permitted. Decisions are made by consensus among affected parties, not imposed by central authority. Dr. Choi Min-ho presented the economic framework. Resources are traded freely based on mutual benefit. Technology is shared voluntarily between willing partners. Innovation is encouraged and rewarded, not restricted and controlled. What about species that choose to remain with the Council? Asked a delegate from the aquatic Murdane people. They're welcome to make that choice, Park So-rae replied. We're not trying to destroy the Council. We're just showing their alternatives. Captain Han added, some species genuinely prefer structure and stability over freedom and growth. That's their choice to make. But what about the rest of us? Called out the Veltar ambassador. What about species that want to try something new? Then you're welcome here, Park Sora said simply. No ultimatums, no requirements, no threats. Just an open invitation to be what you choose to be. Over the following days, the summit established the foundations of a new galactic order. Trade agreements based on mutual benefit rather than council. Allocation. Defense pacts chosen freely rather than imposed by authority. Research partnerships that shared knowledge willingly rather than hoarding it centrally. Most importantly, they established the principle that would define the new age. The right to choose. On the final day of the summit, Consul Prime Vexthara himself arrived at Freedom Station. The ancient crystalline being looked diminished somehow, his light dimmer than before. I've come to understand something, he said to the assembled delegates. For 3,000 years, the Council believed we were protecting the galaxy from chaos and war. We thought peace meant the absence of conflict. His light pulsed with what might have been sadness. Humans showed us something we had forgotten. Peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the presence of choice. True peace doesn't come from eliminating the ability to fight. It comes from choosing not to fight. He turned to Park So-rae. Humanity rejected our ultimatum, not because you wanted war, but because you wanted something we had forgotten how to give, respect. It's not too late, Park So-rae replied gently. The galaxy is big enough for many different ways of living. Some species will always prefer the security of the council system. Others will choose the uncertainty of freedom. Both can coexist. Vextaris. Light brightened slightly. Perhaps. The council has much to consider. As delegates began departing Freedom Station, Dr. Choi Minho made his final observation. 6 months ago, the council offered humanity a choice between peace and war. They thought we chose war. He looked out at the ships from dozens of species, all heading back to their worlds with new ideas, new partnerships, and new possibilities. What we actually chose was the right to choose. And in the end, that made all the difference. The age of imposed peace was ending. The age of chosen peace had begun, and across the galaxy, for the first time in 3,000 years, the future was full of possibilities.